Here's to our hope that you had a Christmas visited by a star. Whether in the form of a pleasant memory or a helping hand, a moment of joy, a dose of hope, a warm message, or a ray of light. It has been harder each year to celebrate our favorite season because life has been harder too. Before Typhoon Odette left more than 2 million Filipinos distressed and dislocated, this nation has been flooded with 2 years of pandemic hits and misses by its government. Tortured by a circus of political clowns and mocked by its abusive leaders. But it is the season of joy, and by our very nature, we scrounge for it, even if buried in layers of grief and frustration. Ana Patricia Non showed us how to turn anger into action as she mobilized hearts and minds to bring ayuda to the streets for anyone's picking.
Hindi lahat may ayuda, hindi lahat nakakakuha ng sapat na ayuda. Ibig sabihin din, gutom yung mga Pilipino and kailangan natin magkaroon ng action.
The movement of community pantries put to shame a slowpoke government that froze at the height of the COVID-19 crisis. The first Filipino Olympic gold medalist, Heidelin Diaz, lifted us from our lockdown lives.
Kung tatanungin kung saan ako kumukuha ng lakas sa lahat ng trials, sa lahat ng bash, bumabalik ako kung bakit ko ito ginagawa. Ginagawa ko po ito kasi dahil mahal ko ang Pilipinas, mahal ko ang weightlifting.
And on the side, she even taught Malacanang officials magnanimity and victory. After they previously named her in a false matrix of so-called destabilizers and refused to apologize for it. In the face of impunity and prostitution of the law, local courts in back-to-back decisions freed activists who had been illegally arrested on the basis of irregular warrants. And the best gift for truth-tellers? The gift of a global space that gives truth premium over power. This is something that the International Criminal Court gave whistleblower and former Davao City cop Arturo Las Cañas, and what the Nobel Prize Committee bestowed on Rappler CEO Maria Ressa and Russian editor Dmitry Muratov.
After the Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to Maria Ressa and Dmitry Muratov, we celebrate a world that understands that no democracy can exist with a citizenry terrified into silence. Tomorrow, we will go home, to our desks, to the field, to newsrooms all over the world with the awareness that even if we're afraid, we do not tell our stories alone.
These people, along with many nameless and faceless Filipinos, have barreled through to help this nation find its way out of darkness, one step at a time. But this is not to obliterate the conditions that made them push back. Government's anemic response to the pandemic is made worse by the scandalous awarding of public contracts to Pharmally Pharmaceutical Corporation. Activist communities continue to work under the barrel of a gun.
Hindi makatalunan na kung sino-sino na lamang ang nirerenta.
Philippine sports remain underfunded and mishandled, as the case of EJ Obiena has shown. The ICC probe is stalled because of President Rodrigo Duterte's intransigence. And attacks against journalists and their websites have ramped up as the May 2022 elections near. For indeed, a tyrant's job is to deprive us of stars that guide us, to snuff out the light in our lives. But in this season, we remind ourselves that we outshone the tyrant this year through our hard-earned stars. For it's not only true that there is good in the world, it's also true that the good shines and wins.